They see it as undermining the ideas and ideals of what football is about.
Leipzig is the public enemy number one, and I don't give a fuck about it.
My whole life I don't care what other people say, so I do my thing.
Hatred is a strong word, but there's an element of envy, there's an element of dislike, and they're seen as artificial.
In 2009, Austrian energy drink manufacturers Red Bull bought the licence of SSV Markenstadt.
Red Bull were looking for a football club in Germany that they could get involved with, but it's not easy to buy clubs. In fact, the Bundesliga regulations don't allow it. So what they did do is effectively take over a 5th division team, Mark Randstadt, just outside Leipzig, small side, who really no one was going to miss. Call themselves RB Leipzig, not Red Bull, because that's not allowed either.
They take the name of Rasenballsport Leipzig because it's not allowed to give a sponsor's name on the team. So they have to make it a little bit different and take the name of Rasenballsport, but the R and B, it's also named for Red Bull.
RB saw that there was a gap there, saw that people were starved in the East for first division football. They understood, I think, that if they were to build a club, people would actually like the fact that Leipzig as a city is back on the map.
They rapidly rose through the German leagues, but in doing so, Red Bull created the most hated football team and became many football fans' #1 enemy.
I think part of the reason why people dislike them is that because they're actually smart and actually very, very strategic, and they do things with a long-term vision.
For a lot of people it's like this, that now Leipzig is the top of the bad movement which happens to football, that everything becomes more capitalistic. But it is already capitalistic, and I cannot change it.
They see them as a vehicle for the marketing arm of Red Bull.
Some of them are jealous, some of them fear that football will change, but the question is it because of Red Bull Leipzig? It already changed, so we are not the reason.
A lot of criticism centres around how they managed to get around the German ownership model, the 50+1 rule.
But a 50+1 rule stipulates that half the shares, in terms of shares with voting rights, plus one, i.e. the majority of the club, needs to be controlled by the members. Leipzig basically have a handful of members that control the club. In order to be a member, you have to pay a lot of money. Not everyone can join. Even if you do join, you might not have a vote.
I think it's pretty close to like double standards. The other clubs have investments too. Leverkusen, Hoffenheim, teams like Schalke with Gazprom.
There are exceptions to the 50+1 rule in place in the Bundesliga. Bayer Leverkusen are 100% owned by the pharmaceutical company Bayer. Wolfsburg are 100% owned by Volkswagen.
If you speak with Wolfsburg, they say, yeah, but VW was there when the city was founded. Or Hoffenheim, they say that, okay, Mr. Hopp was born there or has a relation to the city, so there is also some kind of tradition.
You can't change anything in this stuff by having your voice on the meeting once a year.
I don't care about tradition.
Many people have a romantic thinking about the football in Germany, and if the club does it the other way around, so everybody hates them, so because of getting on top.
I think what Leipzig have done and what's annoyed a lot of people and put noses out of joint is they've been, in a way, fairly transparent about what they've done, because it is so blatantly just a way around the regulations. They haven't even tried that hard to adhere to the regulations. There isn't really anything inherently bad or wrong or evil in using the opportunity of having big commercial backers and having a successful football team. It's just, I think, the rapidness, the artificiality of it, that's hard for people to stomach.
However, if you look past all the hatred and negativity, there are actually quite a few positives.
The city of Leipzig and the most people who's living here are profiting from the club, so we have here a lot of bars and other pubs. There wasn't any people before RB was playing in the Zentralstadion, so you look out on the streets, they're full.
The energy, the vibe, the buzz, even though there is some negative sides to it, is good for the city, and I think you won't find many people say, you know, oh, I wish that they weren't there. They could have gone down the route of many nouveau riche clubs and just buy big established stars, but they have a policy of buying young players, ideally below 24.
I heard one story about Dietmar Mateschitz, and he's really upset and really sad when young players have to leave the club.
Other clubs like Munich and Dortmund, they wouldn't play, they would just sit on the bench, but in Leipzig they have the chance to play, and they're doing good.
So I think Dietmar Mateschitz has this point to get young players in the team, and they want to play there for a long time.
They grew up with us, and this is a nice thing. It's not the money who comes into football. Red Bull has a good scouting and they know how to invest their money.
It would be much easier in a way to like them if they were silly with the money, but they're actually very smart.
With a newly formed club, so came the opportunity for the fans to create their own fan culture.
I went to the first game in the normal league system. I think the main point to many people is that it became the chance or the opportunity to get in a new fan scene, and so you have the opportunity to get some new things together.
And especially with the Red Aces, we were quite mighty at the beginning because there was no other group.
We took like the whole history of a club, so none of the guys in the Bundesliga did this. So they just went to a club when they've been first league. So they were every time the same rules in the stadium. They couldn't change anything. They just like took what's there. It's about like supporting of the team. It's about like the feeling when you're mates and going to the game. It's everything. Like the team and the football is like the smallest part of what we're doing right now.
As well as in the stands, RB are creating quite a story on the pitch too.
Leipzig came into the league and many people thought they're going to be a considerable force, but they still surprised everybody by going so strong, by being top of the table in early December, by going unbeaten until early December. The football that they play with young players is great to see.
When you watch a game, you see there's a lot of intense in the game. They're running really fast and have a lot of power.
People are interested in this. People are interested in German football as a consequence. Bayern don't have it all their own way. Maybe we even have a title race this year.
To be fair, it's quite nice to be in top of the league.
The surprise is only the extent of their early dominance.
When we got up to first league, we thought like, oh, we're playing first league next year. Are we really ready for this? Is the club ready for this? Are the fans ready for this?
Can you win a league?
We can, but I don't want, to be honest. In the last 3 years, everything was so fast. It would be good for the city, yes. And Leipzig is already now more famous than 2 years ago.
I don't see any reason why they can't win it. It'll be a hell of a story if they do. I think on a purely sporting level, it's hard to say that this team is not adding a lot. But many people cannot see past that sort of original sin of how they were set up.
How does it feel to support a team that is hated?
I don't care about it.
Leipzig is the public enemy #1, and I said, I don't give a fuck about it.
We've seen a lot of protests against them. I mean, we've had a severed bull's head thrown on the pitch. We've had all sorts of really quite bad banners.
Yes, well, a lot of sarcastic points they made with their banners.
We've had Hoffenheim taking a sort of a funny line saying, you know, we want to be the public enemy #1. We want to be the most hated team. Please, you know, we want our title back.
I don't care if they say like your club is shit and your crew is shit, and we like it. We like the way we do it, and that's everything that counts.
Bundesliga fans have to get used to them because Leipzig are here to stay. Whether they can keep up the same momentum, I'm not so sure, because success brings its own problems, but they've got something else, which is a pretty powerful story with all the pros and all the cons. Ole, ole!